Majority Leader John Thune, who's been my friend. He really has done an amazing job. Thank you, John. Thank you. Done an amazing job. I didn't get to know John as well in the first term, and I've gotten to know him very well over the last 9 months, John, and you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much. Really great. Majority Whip John Barrasso was outstanding man. Thank you, John. Thank you. Great guy, too. Conference Chair Tom Cotton. He loves that military. He loves the he loves the military. Policy Committee Chair Shelley Moore Capito. Shelley, thank you very much, Shelley. Vice Chair James Langford. Very good, James, thank you. And you know, we have everybody but one person here. You know, everybody showed up. I figured you'd have like, I'd say 40 would have been a good number, right? We have everybody, we're just missing one person. You'll never guess who that is. Let me give you, he automatically votes no on everything. He thinks it's good politics. It's really not good politics. He's an automatic no. But I don't know. Look, if he wanted to come, I'd probably let him come, right? I'd let him come. Begrudgingly, but would let him come. And National Republican Senatorial Committee Chair, an unbelievable guy, Tim Scott. You know, Tim, I shouldn't say it because it's so, I don't know if it's going to go. But Tim ran, and he was very effective and very good, but he was on the debate stage and everything else, he was good just because he's good. But he wasn't as good as they thought he was. And when he got out of the race, he endorsed me almost immediately. And I used him as a surrogate. And I wasn't sure if I should because, you know, sometimes I want a total lunatic to get up and fight for me. And Tim is a really good person. So I wasn't sure. And I put him on the stage, and he ripped the heart out of everybody. He was so brutal. He was so unbelievable. It turned out to be absolutely one of my best surrogates, and it includes a lot of you people that were here. You were all surrogates. But Tim ripped these people apart. And after watching 2 or 3 times, then I wanted him all the time, right, Susie? I said, I want Tim Scott, get up there. But he was so good, and I said to him, Tim, when you fought for yourself, you were much different. When you fought for me, you were a tiger. You were like unstoppable. You really was. You all saw that. What's the difference? He said, I've never liked selling myself. And I love selling somebody that I really do believe in. I really believe in you. And I just felt that way. And it was so nice the way he expressed it. And I want to tell you, you are a champion. You are a winner, and congratulations. Thank you very much. I never love telling that story because I'm not sure if it's a good or a bad story, but I'm telling you, you are an amazing guy, and you fought for me so hard, and I really appreciate it. You got to be my #1 choice, Tim. So something happened. I appreciate it. And you're doing great doing what you're doing right now. I also want to thank the entire Senate Republican Conference for your tremendous work on confirmations. Boy, did we have a couple of weeks, huh? We had some, I signed like 150 of them, and I didn't use an auto pen, by the way. I signed. You know, when you're signing these important, like a general getting approved from 3-star to 4-star and all of these different things and big confirmations and, you know, big stuff, you really have an obligation to actually sign it, I think. You probably noticed right there, number 46, we put up, right? We put up a little bit of an auto pen. We have 46, we have 45, we have 47. It's very interesting. You have 46 as an auto pen. It's up there. It stays up there. People like it. It's probably going to stay up there for a long time. It's true. And I know you're looking into that. And by the way, the auto pen person said he never spoke to Biden. He worked the auto pen. You're not allowed to do that. So if you're looking at anything, just remember it. And remember, they treated us very badly. They treated us very, very badly. So I think you're allowed to just report the truth, including the confirming of my cabinet much faster than first time. I mean, we went so fast, and I give John Thune and all of you credit for that. It was amazing. All of a sudden, I was calling John, I've got to get him approved. Come on, John, because I was getting like one every 2 weeks. And you know, I had people, they left their job and they left everything, and it looked like they were, all of a sudden, it was like an avalanche. They walked in, James and James, my double James, I call them. They walk in and they had like so many of them. I said, you got to be kidding. is this like, are you for real, right, James? John Thune did his job, and you got them all done, and you have all those people out there working now, and instead of being very upset with the fact that we couldn't get them approved quickly. So I really appreciate it. You used a method that I wish you could use U.S. attorneys. You know, I have 10 U.S. attorneys who are phenomenal, phenomenal. A Harvard, a Yale, a this, a that, all top. And the problem is they're not going to ever be confirmed, I guess. I put them in. They'll be there for 3 or 4 months, whatever, and then they have to leave. Because anytime you have, as you know, anytime you have a Democrat senator, not even 2, just 1, they'll say because of the time we're in, we're not approving that person. We're not approving. They never do. They won't approve. And therefore, because of blue slip, I have to tell the person after 3 months, I'm sorry, you'll have to leave. And I put somebody else in. And I've had Democrat senators say the only one who'll ever approve is a Democrat. This is not constitutional. And you really, I hope you can look at that blue slip thing, because I have 10 people that are phenomenal, and they're going to have to leave office. Highly educated, top of their class, everything, and they're going to have a mark on their career that they were a U.S. attorney for 3 months or 4 months, and then they had to leave. And that's so unfair. It's unfair to the public, because the public voted for me in a landslide, and I'm supposed to be picking the U.S. attorneys, and this goes for judges also. But actually more so even for the U.S. attorney with the blue slip. So I have these phenomenal people, many of them young, but truly fantastic people, and they're wondering what's going to happen in another 3, 4, 5 weeks. They're going to have to leave office. I think it's a shame, and I hope you can do something about it, because I'd like to tell those people, you know, we put you there, and you're not going to have on your resume for the rest of your life, you were there for 4 weeks or 6 weeks, and you left like you got canned. So I hope you look at that, very important. And after your pivotal changes to the Senate rules last month, as a result, this is what you did, the unprecedented obstruction by the Democrats. We've confirmed more than 175 public servants, people that are phenomenal, to keep posts, and that's just been over the last couple of weeks. It's an unbelievable thing what you've done, John, all of you together. So working closely with me and House Majority, the Republican Senate also gave us the largest working class tax cut in American history. And you passed the Lincoln Riley Act to throw illegal alien criminals out of our country. You passed the Genius Act and the Take It Down Act with the support of our wonderful First Lady. She got, by the way, she got actual support from the other side. It was bipartisan. I think Rand didn't vote for it again. I think it was only Rand. If we get bipartisan support, other than maybe Rand. But another one I'm going to ask you to vote for, and it's in the House now, and I hear it's doing well in the House, James. It's case law. A young lady named Kate Steinle, I remember it so well, probably 8 or 10 years ago now, in San Francisco. She was holding hands with her father on the San Francisco pier, looking out into the water. It was beautiful, everything was beautiful, but the person wasn't beautiful that did this. And this was an illegal alien that came into our country 5 times, was thrown out 4 or 5 times, I don't even know, but a lot, and came back and shot her through the head. And she went down and she looked at her father, Daddy, Daddy, something happened, and she immediately passed away in his arm. And I mean, you can imagine, it was so sad, such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful person. Father was destroyed, you know, virtually destroyed. And they passed they wanted to pass what they call case law, and it's now again in Congress, and I hear we're going to get it passed in Congress, and when it gets up to the Senate, I hope you guys can pass it. And basically, very simply, it says that if you're an illegal alien and you come in and you get thrown out, if you come back and get caught, you have to spend 10 years in jail. Very simple. Very simple. If they would have had that, Kate Steinle would be alive today. That was a big event at the time. If you remember, Bill O'Reilly, for those of you that like Bill, I think I like Bill, but he was the one, he was he devoted his life to that law, trying to get it passed. I think it's time that we pass it, so that if you get taken out of the country and you come back illegally, knowing that this law is in existence, you go to jail for a 10-year period, and it's going to keep the repeat offenders from coming in. It's going to really keep them from coming in. Senate Republicans have already voted 11 times to get our government back and open for business. We have record business. We're going to be, I think, by the time I hit month number 12, I think we're going to have $20 trillion of investment. We're over 17 right now. As an example, President Biden had less than $1 trillion for 4 years. We're going to have $20 trillion in less than 12 months, and we're over 17 trillion right now. So it's the largest amount in our country by far, by many times. That's in our country. But here's the one. It's the largest amount in the history of the world. There's never been a country that's had anywhere near 17, or it will be 20, and it's going up fast. A lot of it's because of tariffs, because they're coming in because they don't want to pay tariffs. In other words, they make their product in a certain country, and they used to just send it in here, and there was no charge, absolutely. Now, if they have to pay a 20%, 30%, 50%, 100%, or 2% tariff, they say, well, it's better if I build my plant in the United States. It always amazed me I did this first term. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country in first term. We had COVID, and we did a good job with that. That was a curse for every country in the world. It was terrible. But we had the greatest economy we ever had. But if you remember, I started the tariffs, but I held it off because it wouldn't have exactly been good at the time to tell France, you know what they were going through, you know what Spain was going through and Italy was going through. That, by the way, we're going to charge you tariffs. But I had started the process. We were going, the country was doing good. And I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. I put the full tariffs on China. Biden left the tariffs because he couldn't, it was too much money, but they gave so many exceptions that they were essentially meaningless. In other words, here's the tariffs, but you don't have to pay if you look at somebody the wrong way. You don't have to pay. So they didn't pay very much. But with me, they were paying hundreds of billions of dollars. And again, I have a great relationship with President Xi. I expect to be able to make a good deal with him, and I want him to make a good deal for China, but it's got to be fair. For years, they were making $500, $600, $700 billion. $700 billion, and we'd be making nothing. It was a one-sided, honestly, we built their military. We built China's military with the money that we lost for so many years getting ripped off. So now we're going to have a fair deal. I think we're going to have a very successful meeting. Certainly there are a lot of people that are waiting for it. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe it won't happen. Things can happen where, for instance, maybe somebody will say, I don't want to meet, it's too nasty. But it's really not nasty, it's just business, and we're gonna do a good job representing you people and representing the people of our country. Unfortunately, in a craven and pointless act of partisan spite, Chuck Schumer, who I've known for a long time, and the radical left Democrats are holding the entire federal government hostage to appease the extremists in their party. And they are extreme. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. They're extreme, and you know what? We had a landslide election. We won the popular vote by a lot. We won the swing states, all 7. Remember, they said, oh, if Trump could get 3 swing states, he'd be... And, well, I didn't get 3, I got 7. We got all 7 by a lot, by record numbers. We won the Electoral College, 312 votes. They said, it's very hard for a Republican. It's harder for a Republican. Although now I think we've swapped it. I think it's now harder for a Democrat. Because if you see what we've done with the Hispanics, with the black workers and black men, and recently a poll came out with black men and women were doing so well. You know, they want security. They don't want to have their city destroyed. Women in Chicago, beautiful black women walking around with red MAGA hats, because they don't want to be mugged and shot and everything else. And then you see a Democrat get up and tell you how safe it is in Chicago. You know, they've had, in a fairly short period of time, 4 4,000 murders. This is over a short period of time. 4,000 murders. And they had a holiday where they had 28 people killed and almost 100 shot. And then you listen to this guy, Pritzker. I've known the family for a long time. They threw him out because he was no good, and he became governor. He's got money through the family. He didn't make, he's got money through the family. But they threw him out, he became governor. I said, I wonder how he's gonna do. It's a crime palace, it's a shame. And you know what we did in DC is unbelievable. You people, you can walk down the middle of the street, Mr. Senator, you can walk down, you can have your wife meet you at the restaurant and she's not gonna be accosted, shot, beat up, raped. It's unbelievable how bad it was. It was one of the worst in the country, and now it's stone cold. I don't say the word perfect, but it's pretty damn close. And you know, they would average more than a murder a week in Washington, D.C. This is just before we got here, a murder a week. Think of that. The capital of, in my opinion, the capital of the world. They come from Iowa, they come from Indiana, they come from Florida. You call up the parents, I'm sorry, sir, your son has been shot and killed. We have no crime here now. We have no crime. And the National Guard has been unbelievable, the job. Unbelievable. And you know, it also looks better. I do a tour, I hop in that beast. I feel very safe in the beast. The windows are this thick. But I hop in the beast and I tell the Secret Service, let's drive around town. I used to do that myself. I could drive myself around. I actually like that better. But now I don't think it's a good idea. But we drive around in the streets. The place is looking much, the grass is good, the fences are down, there's no tents, there's no anything. We are looking like it's just a whole new look. And the most important thing, there's no crime. And we're going to fix the roads. We have great pavers. We're going to fix the medians in between the roads, which are half of them are falling down. We're going to take some of the tiles off the bridges, the tunnels that you have. They've been up for 40 years. They're rotted. And we'll put up brand new, gorgeous white tiles like it's supposed to be. But this place is looking really good. And we haven't even started the real fixing up of the town. We're getting rid of the graffiti. You notice there's almost no graffiti anymore. A lot of that beautiful statuary marble and red graffiti all over it had bad signs up, and it stopped. We've taken out 1,700 career criminals and people that came in through an open border. They came in through Biden's open border, and we've taken them out. The thing having to do with all of the elements in the great, big, beautiful bill, I'll tell you, it's amazing what we've done. $200 billion in costs for medical. Well, we've done $50 billion for rural hospitals. And remember, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on... Think of all of these things that we've done. This is the biggest, this is the greatest bill. Social Security, no tax on overtime. But no tax on tips. I got that from a waitress in Nevada. I was making a speech and I'm at one of my restaurants in the hotel I own there. And I say, how are you doing? Well, sir, it's terrible. They're taxing my tips. They're going, I wouldn't have even thought that. And I looked at it and she said to me, sir, there should be no tax on tips. I said, say it one time more. No tax on tips. I walked outside to the press. I said, there will be no tax on tips. She was right. And we won that state by a lot. That's not a state that we win by that much, David, but we won it by a lot. So it was pretty good. But that bill is chock full of so many different things. So it was the biggest bill. I'm actually saying this to the fake news so that they maybe print it, but maybe not, because you people know. It was the biggest bill ever passed in Congress. And what we did was a little risky. We put everything into the bill, John, right? And some people were against it. They said, no, you got to do small bites. And we gave it a shot, and we got it passed. I got a call from John. He said, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. Sir, we have 4 hard no's. Could you please call him? I said, what time is it, John? It's 4 o'clock in the morning, sir. So I called up. One of you is sitting right here. I said, Jim, could I say hello to you? It's 4 o'clock in the morning, right? He said, sir, you have my vote. I said, wow. Then I called up another person. I'll use fictitious names. Doug, can I get your vote? You've got it, sir. Then I called up another one. How about Josh? Can I have your vote, Josh? Because I like Josh. And Josh, who can be very difficult, said, sir, you have my vote. His wife was screaming at him on the other side. Sir, you have my vote. But I called people, and they weren't really hard-nosed. They wanted a little attention, unfortunately, at 4 in the morning. Sometimes I like the ones that don't like the attention, but we'll take it anywhere we can. And we got it passed, right, John? And nobody thought that could happen, because you have a small majority. And how about in the House, we had a majority of 3. We actually went down after that for a period of about 2 months. We went down to a majority in the House of 1. And I kept saying, you know, because I'll tell you, Mike Johnson's great. The team, these 2 teams, did you ever see 2 people more different? One's tall, one's slightly less tall. You want to be believe? They are very different people, but they're the same in terms of talent. They did it, the 2 guys, and they get along incredibly well. We all do. We get along great. But we passed a bill. We don't need to pass any more bills. We got everything in that bill. There's nothing else we have to put. We got the largest tax cuts in history. We got the extension of the Trump tax cuts. We got all of these things. And, you know, remember, they lie. They will look at I saw it the other day, they were talking about, I call it the Great Big Beautiful Bill, but that's what it is, the Great Big Beautiful, the biggest bill ever passed. And what they say, they make up stories. And I saw they were interviewing a senator, and they said, well, what's wrong with their bill? He didn't know what to say, because there's nothing he could say. It covers everything. He said, death, death. It brings death. Now, if I'm a regular person and I hear that, I say, oh, that's terrible. But it's just the opposite. It brings life. It brings Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. It secures all those things. And they just are so bad. You know, they said death. It was like death. And there's nothing about death. Theirs is death. Because they're going to lose Medicaid, they're going to lose Social Security, they're going to lose Medicare. All of those things are going to be gone because the whole country would be bankrupt, and you're not going to have any kind of medical insurance. So with us, it's the opposite. And it's a great bill. We don't need any more. And I want to just say from the beginning, our message has been very simple. We will not be extorted on this crazy plot of theirs. They've never done this before. Nobody has. You always vote for an extension. Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats need to vote for the clean, bipartisan CR and reopen our government. It's got to be reopened right now. We're not doing that. They are the obstructionists. And the reason they're doing it is because we're doing so well. We're doing well all over the world. We're doing well with the close to $20 trillion that I just told you about. It will be that number, but even if you take it down to over 17, that's a guarantee. We're doing well with everything. Car plants are pouring back into our country. AI plants, we're leading, we're dominating China right now in AI. And I did something that I think you'd like, because we have an old grid, it's a tired grid. It doesn't have the juice that you need to fire up these plants. You know, these plants will need more than double the energy we have right now for the whole country. That's how big it is. And we can't do that. There's no way we can do that. China's building right now 52 power stations. But I did something better. I'm letting everybody build their own power plant, so they'll become like an electric utility in addition to AI. But if they want to build their own plant, and we get their approvals within less than a month, it used to take 5 years prior to rejection. Sometimes a guy in Louisiana, they had one that took 12 years, and then they got rejected. I got it approved in 2 weeks when I got into office. That was the first term. And the plant is up now, and it's been a great thing for the state. I did it twice, actually. I got 2 of them that were dead after 12 years, and I got them approved, both of them, in less than a week. And that's what we're doing. Lee Zeldin, by the way, is doing a phenomenal job, Environmental Commission, I have to tell you. He knows that we have to get them fast, and we're getting them fast. So we're leading China in the AI race by a lot. Under Biden, Democrats voted 13 times for continuing resolutions to keep the government open. And all we want is simply to ask them to do it once again. They always voted for it. They never voted against it. Nobody votes against it. But they do that, and they do. It's partially my fault. I mean, I'm watching you, and I'm looking at all these great faces that I've seen, really great people. I think with few exceptions, a couple of you I don't like that much, but with few exceptions, great people. And you look at what they do, and you look at the game they play, and it's a horrible game. And, you know, we have the hottest country ever. This is the hottest country anywhere in the world. And I say this, I'm sure you've heard me say it, but I was over in the Middle East, and the King of Saudi Arabia and others also said essentially the same thing. They said, you know, President, a year and a half ago, your country was dead. We never thought we'd see this. And right now, you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We do. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world, which tells you about leadership, and that includes your leadership. So as you know, my door is always open to anyone. It's not like that AOC, how about her, where she said, she's talking about having rebellions and everything. She said, well, my door is always open. But she's not the leader. I'm sure the leaders felt very nicely about when she said her door's open. Who the hell wants to go into her door anyway? She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. She's the one that started. You know, I remember, I'll never forget, she never took a course on the environment. And I watched her one day, and she was on television. She said, yes, our planet will be dead within 12 years. That was a long time ago. Our planet was supposed to be dead. Remember the 12-year theory? We were environmentally dead. Now, these people, they've got an agenda that nobody quite understands. The good news is they don't understand it either. They really have no idea. But the people do. The people understand. We're giving you the biggest tax cuts in history. All of these things, it all adds up that we should do fantastically well in the midterm. The only thing wrong with the midterms is that statistically, when you look, a president gets elected, and for some reason, and nobody, even the great John Thune, cannot explain to me, for some reason, even if he's a reasonably good president, and we've had success like nobody, but for some reason, you lose the midterms. I don't know why. I mean, the odds are tremendously against, like 92% or something. It doesn't make sense. If you have a great presidency, it only makes sense that you win the midterm. So there should be no reason for it. Somebody's going to explain there might be some dark, deep psychological reason where they want to vote the opposite way. I don't know what it is, but we have to win the midterms. Otherwise, all of the things that we've done, so many of them are going to be taken away by the radical left lunatics. I mean, we're going to end up with a communist mayor in New York. Can you believe it? A communist. Remember, I would always say, we will not have a socialist elected in our country. Remember, I'd say that all the time. And I was right. We skipped socialists. We got a communist elected. So I didn't tell a lie. I didn't tell a lie. I was right. We'll have a communist, not a socialist. But we've already seen the impacts of the dangerous game that they're playing. Democrats are causing delays in our air traffic control system. So important. We wouldn't have had, you know, this Pete Buttigieg. He spent billions of dollars on fixing the air traffic control. They used copper wire going into glass wire. Any union electrician here or any non-union electrician would say you can't hook copper into glass. It doesn't work. They spent billions of dollars. They turned on the system, and it was stone cold blank. We're getting a brand new system. We have bids out now. We have 3 great companies bidding. And I want one bid. Sean Duffy's doing terrifically. I want one bid. I want just bid, and they're responsible for everything. Not we had. They had like 1,000 contractors. Every contractor, they're all running around. In the end, if one of them does a bad job, we want to be able to blame somebody, and it's going to be one of the very big companies because there's a lot of interest in it. So the air traffic control system is going to be rebuilt. Over 1 million federal workers right now, as you know, are going unpaid. That's the Democrats' fault. And children, tourists, unable to visit the museums in Washington, D.C., that we now have beautiful, safe streets, but we don't have the museums open. We should probably just open them. But we are doing things that nobody's ever done, nobody's ever seen. So all of this and the pain that the Democrats have caused during this reckless and completely unnecessary affair, and you can call it the Schumer shutdown or the Democrat shutdown, you can call it whatever you want. And I will say this, that we have Darth Vader. You know Darth Vader, right? Darth Vader is a man who, I think he's sitting right. Is that Darth? Stand up, please, Darth Vader. Stand up. Does everybody know? They call him Darth Vader. I call him a fine man. But he's cutting Democrat priorities, and they're never going to get him back. And they've caused us, and they've really allowed us to do it. And by the way, thank you. You're doing a great job, I have to tell you. So, really a great job. Because many of the things that they're cutting, like the New York project, $20 billion we're cutting it, they're not going to get it back. I mean, they're not going to get a lot of things back. They may not get it back. Maybe we'll talk to them about it. But they're losing all the things that they wanted. But many of the things that they wanted are things that we don't want. The things that are just so bad for our country. And we're cutting those things out. So while they thought they were doing maybe bad, maybe indirectly they're doing good. The cynical comment that they made all over the place, and all of their cynical remarks proves beyond all doubt that Schumer is a calculating political partisan, but we knew that. But he's somebody that's in deep trouble. He's losing in all of the polls. He's even losing to AOC +3. Remember +3? What happened to the +3? Are they still around? I had one, I met when I was at the United Nations, I met the president of Somalia. And I said, I have somebody I'd like to give back to you. He said, no thanks, we don't want her. He didn't want anything to do with her. But today I'm calling on every Senate Democrat to stop the madness, to let our country get back. In the greatest moment in the history of our country, in terms of wealth, in terms of job creation, and in terms of investment coming in, these guys go on strike. It's really a shame. So I'm asking them to be smart. It's not working. They're getting killed in the polls. The public understands what they're doing. They're doing the wrong thing. And with that, I just want to say welcome to the White House. When we're finished, they do a great job. When they're finished, we're going to all come in. It'll be a little crowded, but that's okay. To the Oval Office, we'll talk a little bit, a couple of minutes. Got some interesting things. And I think I'd like to have, if I could, John come up and say a few words, and we can close it out. And by the way, this is an open mic. It's open to the world. I think they can hear me out in the street. If anybody wants to come up and say after John, say it. We're all friends, and you can speak your heart out. But we've got to get our government open, and the Democrats are trying to keep it closed. Thank you. John, please.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for having us. This is the 4th week of the Democrat shutdown, but we are all here today because your Republican team in the Senate is unified. This is now the longest full shutdown in history, but everybody here has voted now 11 different times to open up the government, and we are going to keep voting to open up the government, and eventually the Democrats, hopefully sooner or later, are going to come around. But Mr. President, your agenda is the right one for this country. This is your team. We are your partners in achieving and implementing the agenda that you campaigned on and the American people voted for. And you just mentioned it has been a series of promises made and promises kept, whether it's national security, whether it's the border, whether it's the economy, taxes, regulations, energy, Trump newborn accounts, school choice. You look at what we've accomplished so far. It is a remarkable, remarkable team and a record of accomplishment that can't be matched. And I would argue, at least in my time here, but perhaps in all of history. So thank you for your leadership, and we will continue to be good partners and work with you to get the work done for the American people. And let's hope that the Democrats get wise, and starting perhaps even today, vote to reopen the government so we can get back to work for the American people. Mr. President, thank you for having us at your home. You have beautiful homes, and thank you for everything you're doing to make this such a beautiful place. This is America's house. We're delighted to be here. Thank you.
All right, that was Senator John Thune, who followed President Trump. President Trump speaking on a number of things. Obviously, they are in the Rose Garden at the White House. The president making mention of the government shutdown, obviously top of mind, top of discussion. The president stating that, well, it's the Democrats' fault and that the Democrats need to come to the table in order to do just that, and that is reopen the federal government. One of the things that we want to do here at Fox 5 is not only report the news and tell you what's going on with the federal government, but provide you with assistance as well. well, which is why we want to discuss this. Let's take this full screen, Joey. This is, in essence, what we call the shutdown assistance map. This is a new thing, if you will, and it really was created to help federal employees affected by the government. Well, the government shutdown, find the support they need both locally and at the national level. Now, the cool thing about this is you see all the different colors, if you will, on the screen. And, well, those different colors, they really represent different organizations that are providing assistance to individuals that are in dire need of help. So, for example, if you happen to see purple, which I can see one or two, that is all things entertainment. And so for American University is to show appreciation for hardworking public servants who cannot perform their duties during the current federal government shutdown. Well, American University will provide certain assistance with regard to the entertainment realm. There is a plethora of different buttons you can click on, if you will, that will provide you with more information as to how you too can receive assistance. What we'll do is we'll make sure we get a link to you so that you too can click on this and find out what you can get assistance with throughout the government shutdown, as we now are in day 21, and yet again it appears no end is in sight. We'll put this on our website, and that's fox5dc.com. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. That's back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. It is now 17 minutes past the top of the hour, 1:17 to be exact. And well, the Greater Washington Region Clean Cities Coalition is hosting the 2025 Clean Energy and Transportation Annual Conference, Expo, and Awards Luncheon. Try saying that fast 3 times. It really recognizes and celebrates all things with regard to the good things that they do. I absolutely love this idea. I absolutely love what they do, but well, let's be joined by a gentleman that does a better job at describing it than I. In this case, I'm making reference to Antoine Thompson, CEO and Executive Director of none other than the Greater Washington Region Clean Cities Coalition. Antoine, always good to see you, my friend. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the program today. Really excited. We're having our Clean Energy, Clean Transportation Conference this Thursday, Martins Crosswinds, Greenbelt, Maryland, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Promoting clean energy, clean transportation so we can fight pollution in the environment, so we can help save lives and impact public health as well. And so we're going to be recognizing a number of leaders in the clean energy and clean transportation sector.
Yeah, this is really needed, and this is something that, yet again, you heard me make mention in the intro that I am so glad that you're doing, because it's putting a spotlight on how important this is. And when I say this, I'm referring to all things clean energy. I'm hoping you can elaborate on that, because there are so many folks that are saying, you know what, no, it's not needed, we're okay, but I would argue you beg to differ.
Yeah, absolutely. When we think about the fact that in many of our communities, people suffer from high rates of asthma, cancer, respiratory related illnesses, much of that is a direct consequence of transport pollution from transportation. It is not by accident that the number one reason why kids miss school in America is because of asthma. And a lot of that is because of the pollution and other environmental factors that you can see and you cannot see. So we must continue to invest in alternative fuels in the transportation sector. When you drive down that highway and you see all that black smoke come out into your car, and you start coughing and it comes inside, that's one of the reasons why we promote clean transportation. So it's something that's important, it matters, and it improves the life expectancy as well. For example, if you live inside the Beltway in Prince George's County, many parts of the inside the Beltway, you have a 10 or 15 years shorter lifespan than if you live outside the Beltway in Prince George's County. And a lot of that is impacted by transportation policies and the high rates of pollution that impacts our lives.
Wow, those numbers are staggering, Antoine, to think that that's actually the case. It's somewhat concerning as well. You made mention that you will recognize and honor a number of folks. Can you share with us perhaps someone that you're looking forward to doing just that with?
Yes, we're going to be recognizing some of the folks from Prince George's County Fleet, like F and Panty. We're going to be recognizing some of our local officials as well. We'll also be recognizing DC government for some of their work with fleets and reducing pollution in the environment, and some of our civic leaders like Nicole Jackson from District Heights as well.
All right. Well, it's the event to be at. I call it the premier event because you all are doing so well and so many good things right here in the nation's capital. I'm referring to the Greater Washington Region Clean Cities Coalition hosting the 2025 Clean Energy and Transportation Annual Conference, Expo, and Awards Luncheon. Folks that want to find out more information, Antoine, how would one go about to do so?
They can go right to GWR3Cs.org, and they can look us up on Instagram, Facebook, and all the other social media platforms. We look forward to seeing you there on Thursday morning.
Zone. Well, soaring auto loan debt is causing problems for the average American. Auto loan delinquencies, according to a report from Vantage Score, are up more than 50% and have gone from, well, let's just say, one of the safest loans to one of the riskiest. Think about that. The problems include record-breaking car prices and higher maintenance and insurance costs. To explain why, and more importantly, how to stay out of auto loan trouble, this is going to be a good one. We welcome America's credit repairman and the founder of credit repair firm Better Qualified, Mr. Paul Auster. Paul, always good to see you, sir, and welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back on, Guy.
All right, so this is a big deal. It's hard to believe that a lot of folks are dealing with this, but, well, I guess the proof is in the pudding. You heard what I just made mention of, and I got to ask, how did auto loans go from one of the safest consumer loans to now being one of the most dangerous?
Sure, this is worse than the perfect storm. You know, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and these delinquencies are always the earliest canaries in the coal mine. Credit card delinquencies, soon to follow will be mortgage delinquencies. And this is happening because consumers have failed to change their behavior. They have to realize that we are in a high interest environment right now. They have to realize that we're in an inflationary environment. We might be moving into stagflation, which means the job market is not doing very well. So they have to change their behavior. They have to take a second look at buying a car. You know, the average price for a vehicle now, went over $50,000 per vehicle. So consumers are saddled. When you tack on insurance, maintenance, interest rate, you're looking at $1,000 a month car payment, and that's just not sustainable for most consumers.
You know, I'm still stuck at the portion where you just said the average car in the year 2025 is now more than $50,000. Did I hear that correctly, Paul?
You heard it very correctly. Again, take a step back. Do you really need a $50,000, $60,000? I mean, and they're not luxury cars. I mean, I think the Jeep Wagoneer is over a Jeep is over $100,000. So consumers have to take a step back. I see the images on your screen right now. This is the most important step. Sit down and do a household budget. You can't wait until you get to the dealership and use some fuzzy mental math. Yeah, I think I'm going to be able to afford that payment. Meanwhile, the salesperson is driving this auto down your throat, making it seem like it's the best purchase you've ever made, and it's simply not the case. So do some planning. Failing to plan is planning to fail. And in this case, when you're talking about budget and financing, you're setting your entire family up for failure.
Yeah.
So take a step back before you go to the dealership. Make sure you can actually afford this vehicle. Look, we used to talk about consumers buying homes and being house poor, making sure you're not house poor. You can continue to save money, put money into an emergency rainy day fund. Now we talk about being car poor. And it's a reality in today's environment.
Yeah, what's that saying? Keeping up with the Joneses, I guess. Well, in this case, that's not a good thing if you're going to find yourself going into serious debt. With that being said, I'm curious, so what should one do if they're watching this right now and they're saying, you know what, you're talking about me. I've fallen into this, let's say, pitfall. But the other thing that I need to do is focus on, well, getting out of this pitfall. How would one go about to do so if they're behind on these car payments?
So like with any debt, you have to take a step back and analyze how you got here and how you're going to get out of it. You have to be proactive. Talk to the dealership. Maybe you can trade that vehicle in that you paid overpriced for and trade it in for a lower price vehicle and get out of that original loan into a lower monthly payment. If not, you have to figure out how to cut other expenses. Where is the money going to come from? Again, auto delinquencies usually or a predecessor to credit card delinquencies. People will pay their mortgage first and foremost. Then they stop paying on their autos, they stop paying on credit cards, they stop paying utility bills. But there's many more dominoes to fall here, Guy. One of the major subprime lenders, so you're going to see a tremendous tightening of the credit market. These loans won't even be available, but they have to deal with what's already on the books. The major subprime lender, Tricolor, just filed for bankruptcy. There will be others to follow for sure. We've never seen more borrowers also in upside down car loans.
Wow.
Because in order to afford the monthly payment, they push the term out to 8 years. We've never seen so many terms go past 8 years than since the Great Recession is when they were doing that so people could still afford to buy a car. They could afford to make that monthly payment. The problem with that is the longer that term is, remember, auto financing used to be 3 to 5 years. Then it went to 6 years. Now we're back into that 8-year mark, and you have consumers, borrowers, turning in their cars, and they're upside down. They still owe more than the car is worth. And that's not a good situation either.
Yeah, Paul, and I know we have a limited time, but I'm a little confused with regard to how this could happen. I was around during the time of the 2005 bubble that burst with regard to real estate. And I'm thinking, hey, didn't we learn life lessons from that? But yet again, it appears as though we're back in the same position. However, this time it pertains to auto loans.
Yeah, well, back in '05, '06, all the way through '08 and '09, during that slowdown, recession, call it whatever you want, the same thing happened again with auto delinquencies during that time period. It's just an early indicator that we're not treading water anymore. We're starting to drown. We're struggling to make all the other pictures. Guy, let's not forget, you have crazy inflation that's affecting, goods and services and groceries, people, gas. Again, this is the perfect storm. The broader picture is not very good for the average consumer. So they're struggling to make their student loan payments. They're struggling to make their credit card debt payments. Most of their interest rates are around 30% on credit cards. So the auto delinquency, these auto loans are just a piece of the bigger puzzle for sure. Unfortunately, again, I'm not a fearmonger, but this is the early canary in the coal mine. Once we start missing auto delinquencies, it's just a domino effect that ultimately leads up to mortgages. Right alongside delinquencies, Guy, repossessions are now at an all-time high again.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
people have to be careful. They have to be proactive. This does not just go away because you don't answer the phone, you don't open the mail. They might even show up at your doorstep. But be proactive, contact the dealership, or go to your local bank and take out a loan to take out that car loan. Because if you start to miss the payments, that's going to have a serious negative impact on your credit score. One late payment could drive your credit score down 25, 50
Wow.
points or more.
Sure.
And that's going to cost you more for all your other goods and services.
Wise words yet again from America's credit repairman and the founder of credit repair firm Better Qualified, Mr. Paul Auster. This was truly needed, Paul, and I truly appreciate your time joining us right here on the Live Zone.
Next time I'm going to have some happy news, Guy, when I come on. We're going to talk about something positive.
Good stuff. Absolutely love it. All right, folks, we'll take a quick break. This is the Fox 5 Live Zone. Fox 5 Live Zone. It is a Tuesday and it is a party. Because Annie Mae is here.
Guy and I got to hang out yesterday.
Yeah.
And we also get to hang out today.
Yeah.
And probably tomorrow. And then the next day after that.
Really?
And then on Friday.
All right. I
I
can't
don't know.
wait
I have
till,
no idea what my schedule is. I'll let you know.
Yeah, you're all over the place. I can't wait for the folks to see what you and I are working on.
What
I think it's gonna
we
be,
got a brewing.
Yeah, it's going to be really
It'll be
cool.
fun.
I guarantee you're going to like it.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, we call this our Tuesday Talkers. Some of the stories that you, my friends, are discussing at home. This is really interesting. Why we touch our faces 800 times a day. I'm just actually reading this for the first time, and it also says what it reveals about stress levels. Apparently, this states, and this is a study out of Princeton University, states that, well, when you get mentally drained and or you are mentally demanding, people tend to touch their lower face more, especially the cheek, chin, and nose. The pattern rises with stress and often happens without awareness. Oh my gosh, they're talking to me.
Oh, yeah, me too. Do you touch your
Oh yeah, all the
bottom of your
time.
face all the time? Oh,
And,
my
but you know,
goodness.
that's why I figured that's why I break out. I have on makeup now, so you
Yeah.
can't see my little blemishes.
Oh,
but
cute.
yeah.
No, I do the same. Actually, something really embarrassing that I'll admit because I literally have no standards. That I always pick at my lips.
Do you?
It's a really, really, really bad habit
Huh.
that I've had for so long, and it comes from like stress, anxiety. Like when I
Yeah.
get really stressed out and I have a lot of anxiety, I pick at my lips. I totally pick
Oh
at
my
my lips.
gosh.
I know, and so I have super, super chapped lips, and so I have to like you'll always catch chapstick on me.
Okay.
And it comes from anxiety and stress. Like when
Yeah.
I'm just like have higher kind of levels of like doing too much, where where I'm spread out too thin, have too much on my plate. I always do that.
Yeah.
And I don't mind admitting it because there's probably somebody else out there that
Excuse
does
me.
the same thing.
Yeah, we
so.
all do something. For
Yeah.
me, it's I bite my nails, and I got to do a better
Yeah.
job of that. Like,
yeah, that's why I wear fake ones so
Oh,
that I
really?
don't bite them off. Seriously,
That's a good thing.
right? Because
Uh,
I'm like, oh, they're so pretty. I don't want to ruin them.
Yeah, I don't think I can show up with those.
You can.
Well, you can,
You
but
can
I would
do
prefer
whatever
not
you
to.
want.
Yeah, that, and I'm trying to think. Is there anything? I play with my ear, and it's to the point. So when I was a kid, I would like do this.
Yeah.
And now when I do it, it will stay.
And you're like, yeah.
Yeah. You see, kind of how like.
Oh gosh,
You see
mine
that?
will not do that.
I don't. It's just we do weird things when
Oh,
we get
yeah.
nervous. You know.
And sometimes
I don't know.
you don't even notice them.
Yeah.
You know the funniest thing that has really nothing to do with like stress, but something that like you do funny things and you don't even notice them.
Sure.
A viewer pointed out to me that when I talk in the morning and I do traffic, when I'm done, I go like this.
Really?
I have a slight like arm movement where
Like
I like
the
go
whole
like
Dak
that.
Prescott thing.
And then I looked at it like I'm like about to tear somebody's ACL. I'm like, ooh yeah.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
And apparently I do that at the end. I'm like, and then I give like a little like shoulder roll. And I watched it after that. And I go, oh my God, I do.
Yeah, we
Anyway.
all have our quirks.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to go back and piece this
And watch
with,
it
with
again.
Dak Prescott doing
It's like a
the
little
whole
arm.
thing.
I can't even do it consciously.
Oh gosh! All right. So hey, at home, what do you do? We'd like to know.
Yes.
Hashtag Fox 5 Live Zone. Let's move on to this. There is a selfish woman who, well, let's just say does the unthinkable. But if I'm already identifying her as being selfish, why am I not surprised?
Right.
So apparently a single mom offered to store her friend's overweight luggage stuffed with clothes at her home, thinking she would later retrieve it. And apparently, I guess she had come to visit her from overseas, right? So
Okay.
she's like, hey, I got so many clothes, I just want to leave it here. The single mom said, yeah, no worries. Well, guess what? The selfish woman returns home and then says, you know what? Can you ship them to me? And you pay for it to the tune of $245. What? So the single mom, took to Reddit and said, hey, am I wrong not to ship it to her and pay the $245? After all, she left it with me. What say you?
No. People just have problems saying no. I'd be like, no. I'd be like, if you want to Venmo me for it, like, yeah, I'll send it.
Yeah.
Because I'm nice. Like, there's a place right next to me, a post office right next to me. I'll go send it. But I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
I didn't pay for it.
The audacity.
Otherwise, you could have brought it with you.
Thank
You
you.
asked me for a favor. You brought it with you. You didn't take it back. And now you want me to clean up your mess. No.
Yeah.
And people will do it too. That's the problem. Is people take advantage of you when you go, oh yeah, sure, and you're nice and you do all this
Wow.
stuff. No, the answer is no, unless you want to pay for it.
That's not a real friend. Why would I
Yeah.
ask you to do something like that? I mean, thank
It
you
was
for
like $20. I
Yeah.
was like, whatever.
$245
Like,
bucks, and you're a single mom at that?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Ready? Let's say it together.
No. It just feels so
Some
good.
of y'all can't say no. I don't know why. Maybe it's my generation,
Oh,
man.
gosh.
I'm like, no.
All right. Well, I can tell you what you do say no to because I know you well, Lady
Yeah.
May, and that is cooking. But it's actually a good thing. Get this. Look, when you get married, a new study found from out of Harvard University that apparently married women are happier when they do not do the cooking at home.
Yeah.
According to the study, they're happier because when women stop being stuck in the cook role, they reclaim their time, their energy, and confidence, making more time for themselves. What are you thinking about that?
I've never, Guy's right, I talk to Guy about this all the time. I'm not really a huge cooker. I always say I feed myself. I am fed. I wouldn't say I'm a chef, okay? You know what? I'm eating like butter or salt and pepper chicken every day, right? I'm not pulling out all the stops. But it's also because my boyfriend's a really good cook.
Yeah.
I think if he didn't cook, I'd be a little bit more inclined to cook. But I don't know. I think this is a little right. And my reasoning is because I'm a working woman, right? And so I think a lot of my time and energy is put into this, and that, again, makes me feel more confident, which is one of the things you were talking about in the article. Makes you feel more confident, makes you feel more self-sufficient, makes you feel more independent. I think that will probably change. The kitchen front than I am the working front.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't have the desire for it. I don't have the passion for cooking.
For me, it's the cook role part. I mean, to think that is a
You're pigeonholed.
Yeah, you know, that's not
for sure.
cool. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and that's why I love it though that my boyfriend cooks, because I'm like, that's typically not what you see traditionally, and he's like the chef between the two of us. He's like sprinkling all the, and I'm like, oh, okay, okay. Like he cooks and it's great, and it's not traditional, but it's great.
Well, how about you sprinkle some of that right here and share it with us?
There
Joey
you go.
wants some too.
A little cilantro on top of those tacos. We'll bring it in. We'll bring it in. I'll have him be the chef on the island, John. I'll be like, here you go.
Now, remember, you heard that here first.
Oh, no. He'd be like, I'm scared. He would not want to work with me.
Gosh,
oh,
no,
my
we
gosh.
doing a great job.
Work, play, here.
Bottom line, guys, happy wife, happy life. In this case, make sure you do all the cooking.
Yes, or order Taco Bell.
Yeah. So, and ladies, just say what? No. Annie Mae joining us for our Tuesday Talkers right here on the Live Zone. I appreciate you. We'll take a quick break, guys. We'll be right back. The Feel Good Tuesday. It's funny. I always have to look down to make sure I have my microphone.
Make sure.
A lot of stuff goes on behind the scenes, guys. You would never believe it. We're joined now with Ronald Young Jr., yes, host of the Wait For It podcast and, oh, excuse me, the new tour, if you will,
Hey.
Heartbreaker a storyteller about your love life.
Yes, yes. It's a one-night-only tour. I appreciate you calling it a tour. It's very generous, very generous of you. But I'm very excited about it, man. I'm going to talk about my past relationships, how I've arrived with my own thought process about love, where I am now, and where I hope to go in the future.
Wow, that is awesome. I can't wait to check that out. I will be there.
Yeah, you gotta be.
I'm glad it's in February because I got plenty of time to put it on my calendar.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to get to Celebrity Dish in just a second. But first, I was stalking you, sir, and I hopped on your Instagram.
Oh, boy.
Now, I'm a little jealous because I profess to be the president of the Mama's Boy Club.
Okay,
I love my mom.
Yes.
And, but I don't know. I think you could battle me because, well, let's take a look, Joey. Let's go ahead and pull it on up. That's your mom.
Oh, yeah, you got her.
We got her.
Oh.
So what was going on with that?
So my mom is, so she came to the studio with me one day, and because she had never seen it, and so I've been working in there for a while. She's like, "Oh, I want to come see what it looks like." So she came, and we put her on the mic, and me and Tom, the engineer, was like messing with her voice so she could hear it, and we just had such a good time. We were having so much fun. Yeah, man, it was a great time.
I'm just look at her smile.
Yeah, man. She's the best, man.
That.
Yeah.
That's just so cool, man. Shout out going out to your mom.
Yeah,
Tell her
man.
We said hi. We love her right
she
here.
She passed actually last year.
Oh, man, I apologize about
all
that,
good,
brother.
man. I love my mom. I'll talk about my mom forever, man.
Okay, cool. Well,
all
dang,
good,
that
man.
almost went around. Almost went down
Are you kidding
a
me?
bad lane, man.
No, you're perfectly
Okay,
fine.
well, as I stated yet again, I absolutely love my mother, and I know you do as well. And so that's the cool thing about it. When we could share with them what we have done,
100%,
and they truly appreciate it, that smile, I will never forget.
And I feel so great because she was like so proud of like the where I was going with my career, all that, and she got to see a bunch of it before she passed.
Oh, that's
so
awesome,
for me,
man.
and this right here being on the live zone with you, all of that, she'd be over the moon, man.
All right,
so
cool.
yeah, give her a shout out.
All right, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right,
We're
let's
gonna do
move
this
on.
every live zone.
I was about to say, man, I was surprised that
dog.
this could have gone wrong, but I'm so glad
all
that you're
good,
here,
man.
brother.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Miley Cyrus. In this case, showcasing, well, her new look for the November issue of Vogue France. But that's not all she revealed. Apparently, she also revealed that she received a gift from Beyonce, a very special bracelet that Miley says she never takes off.
Okay.
Miley called Beyonce the best and says the bracelet comes in handy, as in if someone tries to check her, she says, it doesn't matter, excuse me, my bracelet came from Beyonce. What say you about this, sir?
That feels like a horribly ineffective strategy. Like just to say, hey, I got this bracelet from, there's no evidence. Do you have a certificate of authenticity? Like, what are we talking about here? I don't know why that's your strategy for checking the haters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just so funny because I would do that. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, excuse me. This is my bracelet from Beyonce.
Yeah.
Bow down.
Guy gave me these glasses.
Hey, whatever floats her boat, apparently it works for her. And not as if she really needs that because she's Miley Cyrus.
Correct.
She could just, walk in the building herself
She's
and
good.
say, I'm here.
Face card don't decline, man.
All right, I tell you somebody who can't walk into a building right now. It's kind of a low blow. Diddy.
Oh, boy.
The White House Communications
this guy
Office
stinks.
is saying that TMZ's story is not true. Now, what they're talking about is apparently yesterday, TMZ reported that Donald Trump is considering commuting Diddy's sentence as early as this week. Several White House staffers, according to TMZ, are telling President Trump, nah, don't do it. It's going to cause too much flack for you, whereas President Trump is yet again still entertaining it. The White House today said, you know what? This is not true. TMZ says we're sticking to our story because of our source. Either way, this is really interesting, Ronald.
Yeah, and I think it's another one of those instances in which we have to see how Donald Trump is actually going to react to this, because we've seen in the past when he is told to do something, the last person to talk to him is typically the one who has the influence on him in a lot of cases. And this one, it makes me wonder if the news is out and it's no longer a surprise like it was with George Santos, for example. Because it's no longer a surprise, does he still feel there's value in doing something shocking, shaking up the news cycle? So if I'm Diddy, I'm concerned, even though he doesn't have that long to be in prison for horrible things. So like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah,
you know?
it's going to be really interesting. And we saw what the president said, I think it was last week or the week before last, where he says, I know him as Puff Daddy. We used to hang out a lot.
Oh, my God.
Back then, and then he said he went somewhat rogue because he obviously is on the other side of the fence than where Trump sits from a political standpoint. So the question that I have is if he does have Diddy freed from the coop, if you will, Will Diddy be wearing a MAGA hat? Will he support Trump? Will he, go on the campaign trail for?
Guy, they're good questions. I have no idea, because my thing is, I mean, it makes me think of the show on HBO, the prison show Oz, where there was a very political person who in prison who was receiving clemency from the governor, and he rejected the offer of clemency and became a hero in the prison, and like someone who stuck to their principles. And I don't know if Diddy has the the fortitude to actually do something like that, because he just wants to be out of prison. But again, it's only 2 years, and for me, it would be at least one step towards being more ethical, because he's been unethical this whole time. This is a step towards it, I think.
I'm getting out. I'm not staying.
So quick.
But you know what? I would use that if I disagreed with, and I say this all the time. I'm not, nonpartisan here, but if I disagreed with regard to what the president was doing, I think that's an opportunity for me to have his ear.
Maybe.
And then be able to say, you know what, sir, Mr. President, this is how, maybe another take. It doesn't necessarily mean I have to support him or her if there happens to be the Madam President.
It's an opportunity, I agree. Yeah.
But I'm gone.
I don't blame you.
We'll end with
I don't
this.
blame you.
Taylor Swift, apparently, she has come to the rescue in a major way. A $100,000 donation has literally changed a cancer-stricken girl's life. Her mom and dad were looking to raise money because they just didn't have enough money in order to provide her with treatment. They started a GoFundMe, and then one night, voila, all of a sudden, someone donated $100,000. Upon further investigation, they discovered it happened to be Taylor Swift. Here's the best part. She didn't even reach out, didn't even call him, didn't even send him an email, text him. Dad says as a result of that donation, now a number of Swifties are donating as well. How cool is that?
That's amazing. And also, it should be happening all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a Medicare system that isn't the best, but when people have money, think about the way me and you are online shopping late at night. Maybe you've had a drink, maybe you've been hanging out, and you're like, you know what? I got an extra $100. I'm gonna buy this hat, or I'm gonna contribute to my friend's GoFundMe, or I'm gonna join this Kickstarter. I feel like that's kind of what happened with Taylor Swift here, but her $100 was $100,000, and I want to hear more stories like this from celebrities. Y'all got it, man. Help us.
Yeah.
We need help.
Celebrities, we know you're watching, so because he said it, you do it. We gotta run. Ronald
We
Young
said it.
Jr.
We said it together.
Of course, you can check him out for the Wait For It podcast, and of course, don't forget about the Heartbreaker Storytelling Tour, as I call it.
Yes. You know what? From your lips to God's ear, it's a tour. All right, but it'll start with one city, and we'll announce the other dates later.
I like this guy. We'll take a quick break, guys. We'll be right back.
like I said, you see some warmer weather in October, it comes with a little caveat.
I remember you saying
right?
that.
So,
showers.
Yeah, the showers is right there. Boom. That's exactly what happens. So that cold front moves in, brings us some evening showers, and then as we head in towards the rest of the week, we actually stay sunny and dry, but cooler temperatures, as most of us stay in those 60s. And then as we head in towards the weekend, we start to see some cloud cover return, but again, for the most part, on the dry side. That cold front right there, that's going to be the main focus of what we have going on for our weather today. It's going to help drive in the rain showers closer in towards our area. So as that continues to move in towards us, well, not only is it going to help bring in those southerly winds that bring in a little bit of warmth, but then also that moisture, and then that cold front wrings it out and produces that rain. So again, still going to end up seeing a few rain showers towards the afternoon and evening time frame, and that's exactly what Futurecast is showing. By the time we get towards 5 o'clock, you'll notice it's by western Maryland. It starts to slide a little bit closer in towards us towards the evening and overnight hours, and then dries out pretty quickly, leaving us with a fantastic Wednesday out there. Plenty of sunshine. Temperatures a bit on the cooler side, though, with most of us sitting in those 60s. But given the fact that we have very little cloud cover towards the end, second half of the night, we are going to be a bit cooler with temperatures mostly hanging around those 50s and 40s. So seeing that high pressure system sitting over top of us on Wednesday, it will allow for a lot of that just drier air to make its way in. Very little cloud cover, temperatures mostly hanging around those 60s, and you see that, yes, some 50s for areas just a little further north of us. And even as we continue to have the 7-day forecast showing some of those temperatures still hanging in the 60s, take a look at the lows. They start to dip down a little bit closer towards those 40s. You'll even notice that the daytime highs for Thursday and Friday struggling to get to the mid 60s, and that really sticks with us as we head in towards the weekend. Good thing is, though, Thursday and Friday, it's going to be spectacular with sunshine. It's going to be one of those days where it's a little bit deceiving, where it looks nicer than it really feels. So as that continues going in towards the weekend, you'll notice that by the time we're going into Saturday, even Sunday, temperatures still hang around the low 60s. Cloud cover does start to make its return because we are eyeing another coastal system potentially into next week. But again, it's so far out. Still could be a lot, whether we get rain, whether it's just clouds again, all that kind of situation. But right now what we are focusing on is the fact that temperatures are staying in those low 60s. We're really welcoming fall in here with a lot of that cooler air. So I'm hoping people are really playing the layers game, because you need a layer in the beginning of the day, and then by the time you step out in the afternoon, it's like, well, you know what, I don't need the sweater anymore.
Yeah, I'm playing golf with my dad this upcoming Saturday, so because of you, I will now wear layers. Caesar with all things weather, joining us right here on the Live Zone. We appreciate you, sir. Folks, if you haven't already done so, make sure you download the Fox Local app. That way you can take that amazing forecast with you any and everywhere you go.